Hey everyone, it's Willow. I just want to let everybody know before you get too deep into the video, this video is going to be a rant video. So if you don't want to hear Willow bitching about shit, go ahead and click out now. Halloween is coming up, and I just saw something on YouTube that like infuriated me, just like, oh. So I've like been stewing about it for almost 24 hours, and it just bothers me more and more. And the reason why it bothers me is because Halloween is coming up, and I know that this is going to be an issue for some people. I mean, even every day it's an issue with some people, okay? So this rant video is about paranormal groups, even like paranormal TV shows, amateur ghost hunters, and not having any fucking idea what you're doing. So if you don't want to hear some like truth slapped down in the barest fucking terms possible, go ahead and go out now, because I'm gonna say straight out, I am a fan of ghost hunters, ghost adventures. The best one I've seen is Dead Files. I'm more along the line of the Dead Files. I'm more along the line of like Amy. I see them, I hear them. I really respect what that show does. But it's not just about ghost hunting shows, it's also about these paranormal teams. Okay, so there apparently is a paranormal team not very far from my home, okay? I am not going to put their name out here. I'm not here to put anybody on blast, okay? What I'm trying to do is make people fucking aware of what you're doing, okay? So apparently they went to this house in the Bay Area. Supposedly the lights flicker in this house, mirrors fly off the wall, the guy's getting attacked, there's like all kinds of stuff going on. So they go in there. First of all, not one of them is a psychic, not one of them was a witch or a shaman. They're all just regular lay people. They go in there with the spirit box. First of all, let me talk about the spirit box. That fucking annoying spirit box. First of all, you can barely hear what the fucking people are saying anyway, okay? Even when you go back and analyze it, you're like, what did they say? Oh, well, this sounds close enough. I mean, you see it on TV shows. They'll be like, oh, well, this is what they said. And you'll be like, that doesn't sound anything like what they said. How did you get that? That's because... Okay. So that was the first thing. Then, so they're using a fucking laser grid. Bitch sits down in the fucking laser grid. How you gonna get a fucking positive reading if your bitch ass is sitting in the goddamn grid? You can't. Because any movement you make, you're gonna be like, oh, well, that's... Okay. So, they don't know how many spirits are there. They have actually no way to communicate with them other than that fucking spirit box. And you can't even, like, communicate with them in real time because you can't hear what they're fucking saying. And not only that, but instead of, like, looking around to see if there's, like, something, if there's some other way that they're, like, trying to do something, they're focused the fucking camera on the spirit box. Do you expect a demon head to pop out of it? What do you expect to happen with the spirit box? Why is the fucking shot so important of the spirit box? They're not going to do anything with it. Okay. So, I know, I'm getting really fired up. Okay, so, like, beyond all that. Then, what I really love, is when anybody says, you need to go towards the light. You need to leave and you need to go towards the light. Bitch, they can't find the light. The light isn't there for them. they missed the light or they didn't see the light and now they can't find the light. That's why you have to find someone to cross them over. You have to find somebody that can open a portal like me. You have to find somebody that can call upon like an angel or somebody to come and get their ass. They can't find that fucking light. You don't tell them to go find the fucking light. If they could find the light, do you think they're hanging around in somebody's fucking pantry? No! Okay. So then she's trying to sage the place. She's holding a wand of, like, the bundle of burning sage. She has the sage here, a feather here, and a pot here. And she's going, God help me. God help me. That's not how you sage. You're supposed to go over every fucking corner, along every fucking wall, into the middle of the room, and then back out. And she just standing in the middle of the room. Bitch, you know what they're doing? They're waiting in the corner. They're waiting in the corner until you fucking leave. And then they're gonna wait a few days until shit dies down. And then they're gonna fucking wreak havoc because that bitch came in here, stirred them the fuck up, and now they're angry because the homeowner called them in there to try to get rid of them. Now what? Now what? You think you're gonna be able to get rid of them? You have no idea what you're doing. Okay, so another thing that really gets to me. People that go into cemeteries. And listen, I was guilty of this myself. Okay? When I was younger, guilty of it myself. And at the very end of this video, I'm going to show you what I brought back with me one time. Now, this is before, you know, I fully came into my powers, fully understood it, you know. I'm going to show you a scary-ass picture of what I brought back with me that scared the fucking shit out of me. This isn't a joke. Spirits aren't the only things that hide out in a graveyard. And when you go in there, you're like, oh, well, okay, so I'm leaving and you all have to stay here. Right. Right. Okay. You have no idea what you're doing. Now, I still go to graveyards, but I don't go there to stir up their emotions or anything. I go there and I ask them, do you want me to help you cross? Because I know you can't find the light. And I will open a portal. And I will leave it open. It's a one-way portal. Let me make that very clear. It's a one-way portal. And I'll leave it open for a few minutes so everybody that's in the cemetery can come from that and come over and they can cross if they want to cross. And there are some people that don't want to cross. They still have things to do. Some people, granted, they stay in the cemetery. But some people do come back with me. I have had some spirits come follow me back from the graveyard. I've talked with them. I've checked them out. And they have gone on to new homes. And they've never come back to me. They're doing what I hear from my clients all the time, how well they're doing and, you know, how much they love that spirit and, you know, how great they are. But if you're just going there to talk to a spirit and you can't even really hear them because you're doing like an EVP or you're doing a spirit box, so you can't even understand what they're saying, you're not helping them. You're not helping them. And then you tell them, well, you know, you should just go to the light. Yeah, because you know what? Yeah, gee, why didn't I think of go to the light instead of sitting here with my rotting corpse? Why didn't I think of that? If they could do it, do you think they'd be sitting around in a cemetery with their rotting corpse? Think about it. And now, the last part of my rant, I'm going to talk about these ghost hunting shows that go to places where obviously there was like pain going on there. Mental institutions, murder places. Now I'm going to say a name. And for everybody that has watched Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, these other like ghost shows, I'm going to say a name and you're going to know exactly who I'm talking about. And I think you know why I'm going to bring it up. The name is Sharon Tate. Okay? Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with that story, please be careful when you Google it, because there are some gruesome images. Sharon Tate was killed by Charles Manson and his family in a bloodfest. Sharon was, I believe she was 9 months pregnant at the time that they killed her, and it was a mutilation. It was brutal. There were 5 people that were killed that night, 4 in her house and 1, I think he was an 18-year-old kid. His name was Steve Parente, I believe it was, that was in his car, just in his car, outside. He wasn't even a part of Sharon Tate and her party there. And they killed him, and then they went in and they killed Sharon and J.C. Bring. There was a woman named Abigail, and I forgot what the other man's name is. I believe he was Russian. He had like a Russian name. So what bothered me about this is that all these shows went there and they did their thing, and they all got evidence that Sharon and everybody else was still there. And these shows have resources. These shows have money. Now, not only that, but the owner of the property. Are you trying to tell me that these shows are coming there and filming for free? That you're not getting any type of payment for your appearance on TV, for your house to appear on TV? You're telling me you're not getting any payment? Not only that, but these shows have resources. Why didn't somebody contact a psychic, or contact a witch, or contact a shaman that could help cross them over? Because there was a great number of years in between when Ghost Hunters went and Ghost Adventures went. And all that time, no one did a goddamn thing for those poor people there. No one. And I was standing in the shower one day and I was thinking about that. I was thinking about, because I really like Ghost Adventures. I do. Although I know that they have made up shit. Because when they're trying to catch an EVP and you hear Zach, and it's like, I'm like, so how does that ghost sound exactly like Zach Bagans? Really? I mean, you know, it's obvious that they've faked some of the shit. So I was sitting there in the shower, and, well, I should say I was standing in the shower. I was thinking about that, and I'm like, those poor people, I was like, Sharon and them, they're still there, and, like, I felt something on the other side of the shower curtain. And unfortunately, that's the problem. It's like, I try not to think of anybody that has passed on. I try not to think of their name, because I accidentally summon people. I've done that a bunch of times, and I'm like, ugh. So, I was in the shower, and I felt somebody on the other side of the shower curtain. And I'm like, Sharon? And I heard her go, yeah. I was like, oh shit. I was like, are you alone? She said, no. And I said, did you bring everybody with you? She said, yeah. I said, how many of there are you? She said, 5. And I said, can you do me a favor? I said, just wait in my bedroom until I get out of the shower. So I got out of the shower, and everybody was there, and it was so heavy. They still had so much pain, and I'm like, how could you have lived in that house and not felt their pain? It was so heavy. And I asked them, I said, listen, you know, there's things I can do for you if you want. I was like, do you want to leave that house? Do you want to get out of there? It can't be good for you. And they said, yes. And I said, do you want me to cross you over? Do you want me to open that portal and cross you? And they said, yes. I said, all of you, all 5 of you, you want to go? And they said, yes. So I opened the portal, and they walked through, and Sharon said, thank you. She walked through. And I knew the minute they had all gone, because the atmosphere was just like, I mean, it was so different in here. And I'm like, why was I the one that had to do that? these people that knew they were there, and they didn't give a fuck. They didn't think about, they only went for their fucking financial gain, their fucking ratings, their fucking... These are human beings that were still suffering. And I felt it. It was clogging me, their pain. How could you just fucking leave them there? How could you do that? It makes me so mad. Because I understand there are some spirits that don't want to leave, and that's fine if they don't want to leave, then it is what it is. They were desperate to get out of there, and no one did a fucking thing to help them. Until I finally did. And let me tell you something. If you see any shows now, from now on, that go to that house, and they're like, oh, well, we're getting EVPs and shit from Sharon Tate and Jason. No, you're not. They're gone. I crossed them over. I did what you didn't do. So, I don't know whose EVPs you're getting, but they've crossed. Because I did what you're too fucking selfish to do. Selfish. That's what it is. It's selfish. Okay, so you want to go to this place, and you want to get, you know, like EVPs or whatever. Then help them afterwards. Help them. Because if you don't, it's selfish. And it pisses me off. And this is why I'm like, you know, these paranormal groups. You call on a paranormal group. What are they going to do for you? They're going to set up laser grids. They're going to set up cameras. They're going to set up recorders. And they get evidence. But how did that solve your problem? How did it solve your problem? Because it's still going on, isn't it? They don't know how to get rid of it. It's still going on. And it might stop for a while. You know why? Because it was just like, ugh, whatever. And they leave for a little bit, and then they come back. And then what? Then what? Obviously that didn't work. One very important thing. Now, if you're having like ghostly activity and it's bothering you, I understand. You want help as fast as possible. And you want to feel safe in your own home. And I understand that. But if your paranormal group doesn't have a psychic, doesn't have a witch, doesn't have a shaman, doesn't have a hungan or a mambo, then what's the fucking point? Because they ain't gonna do nothing to help you. They can't. It's not gonna stop. In fact, sometimes it make it worse. Because they are not equipped to deal with it. They're not. So if you contact a paranormal group, you need to ask, how are you going to make this better? Do you have a psychic? Are you able to take them and cross them? And not this go to the light bullshit. It doesn't work. Because if they could find the light, they wouldn't be in your house. And if they are in your house and they don't want to leave because they like tormenting you, then saging your house ain't gonna do shit, baby. It's not. So you really need to ask. Your best bet is to find a witch. Kind of burn myself out, my rage here But, you know, with Halloween coming, I want you to stop and think about what you're doing. And I know, you know, talking with people that have passed on and you know, getting knowledge from them, or knowing that they're there, or knowing that they're safe and they're okay. You know, it's part of the human experience. It's you know, it's our curiosity. But you are also messing with the most vulnerable humans that there are. Because they really have no other communication anymore. They're not able to verbalize their feelings anymore. They're not able to do things anymore. So things are so much harder for them. And I really want you to stop and think. Now, like for people that have spirit dolls or spirit items or what have you, those are spirits that, you know, have made the choice, and that they want to be a part of somebody's life, and that they are known to be there, and they are more willing to communicate. And, you know, when you say, okay, you know, I need to shut the session down, okay. But when you're like going to a cemetery and you have all these people that died, and they don't have a way to reach their family, and you're just like, well, go to the light, you're aggravating the problem. You are. You're making things so much worse for them. I'm begging you, please, just think about this before you do it. I know it's like curiosity or whatever. And if you're gonna do it, start off by apologizing to them and saying, I'm sorry. I'm not able to cross you over. I can't offer you any help. But if you do have any type of messages, this is recording it. And I will hear you. Okay? If this is what you're going to do, if you're going to go out and you're going to do this, apologize to them first. And be honest with them. And don't cause them more pain. So, that's it. That's my rant. I promised you the scary picture at the end. What I actually dragged back from this cemetery was what is known as a soul eater. They prowl through cemeteries, and much like me as a Psy vampire, they feed off energy. So basically they eat the souls of the dead. And it saw the power in me and attached itself to me. And it fucked up my life for years until my demonologist friend got rid of it for me. So that's another warning for you. You don't know what you're bringing back. You say you can do like all the warding and the saging and all this other shit. If something powerful attaches to you, I hope you know a witch. I hope you know a hungan. Because you're going to need one. So, that's it for me and my rant. I hope you're not too pissed off at me if you've watched this all the way to the end. But I feel like it was important enough that it needed to be said. And, so I'm going to close this video off, and then I'm going to leave it with, the scary entity.